Hey everybody, this is Mike with the One Stop Co-op Shop, and today I'm playing Deckers, the new iteration of Ricky Royal's old design Renegade, and disclaimer that I got an early review copy of this one. And if you like the content on the One Stop Co-op Shop, consider supporting us through Patreon. You get early access to our videos and exclusive videos every month you can't see anywhere else. You can also listen to our weekly podcast for reviews and design discussions, or join the conversation and say hi on our Discord. So like I said, this is a new iteration, a new version of an older game, Renegade, which we have covered on the channel previously, but that's an older game. It hasn't been available for quite a while. I'm sure some of you haven't watched those videos. So I'm going to teach this one pretty fresh. And it does have tons of rebalancing. It has a lot of new elements, a lot of new options, new characters, new bosses, all kinds of stuff. So even though it is, based on that older game, there's a lot of new things to explore here. But the basic idea of this game is 1 to 4 players are cooperatively moving around this digital network, trying to undo the evil of the corporation and its AIs and that kind of stuff. Think Cyberpunk, think Netrunner. But the actual gameplay is a little bit Mage Knighty. That was certainly an influence for Ricky Royal in the design, in that you are using cards for multiple different purposes and trying to combo them together and deck building and upgrading your deck. And then it's also a little bit pandemic or crisis management, in that these sparks are being put out consistently by the main enemy, and if too many of them go out, you lose the game. So you have to be managing them, putting out fires, while also trying to fulfill your objectives. So you pick one of these SMCs, supermassive computers, which is kind of like your opponent in the game. I'm playing against Glom, which is a 2 out of 4 star one, so not super basic, but still pretty easy. And they'll tell you how many cycles and which types of cards for objectives are in those cycles. Here we've got 1 bronze, 1 silver, and 1 gold. And each of these basically represents 1 round of gameplay, regardless of how many players you have. Each player taking 3 turns during one of those rounds. And the copper and the silver are optional objectives. If you complete them, you'll usually get some nice thing, or at least mitigate the badness you're getting. If you fail them, then something really nasty will happen. Whereas the gold is really your victory condition. If you can fulfill that, then you win the game. If you fail that, then you lose. But you're allowed to freely look through these at the beginning of the game, so you can see exactly what you need to be doing. And as you're playing copper, you can be thinking about silver. As you're playing silver, you can be thinking about gold. But meanwhile, the supermassive computer, the SMC, will be doing nasty things. They'll be spawning at the beginning of each turn multiple times every round. And if you ever need to spawn and you don't have enough tokens left to do so, then you lose. So that's one of your main timers. But besides that, the game is very much a deck builder and a card-based game. Each character you play, and there are 10 to choose from, 1 for each of the 5 colors with 2 options for each color. I'm playing with the basic yellow character, Tilda Sweet. But each color of player starts with a unique deck with basic cards, but a heavy bent towards their main color. So Tilda has mostly yellow cards in her deck. But then you have these advanced action cards, 4 at a time in an offer from this huge deck here. And one of the main actions you can take is to upgrade the cards in your hand and replace them with the advanced cards, which immediately go to your hand and replace one of the cards in your deck. So you always keep 15 cards, no matter how many advanced cards you get. But your deck is getting stronger, getting more cool powers, because all of your starting cards only have icons at the bottom that you can use to resolve actions. But the advanced cards will have other things you can do with them, other cool powers. But these cards are used for different commands. The blue cards let you move. The green cards let you push things around, called shifting them. The yellow and red cards are used to attack the sparks, the black tokens on the board. Yellow replaces the black token with another token, so you kind of shift it and modify it to your side, while the red ones just straight up attack them and blow them up. There's a lot more to know in the game, but I'll explain things as we go. Let's jump right in. So first we had to do setup. Tilda Sweet starts on the 6 space of her server. So each of these are 6 hex little tiles here, and you can randomize where they start out and kind of build the map differently each time. But she starts on her home server, yellow. Normally she would get a free yellow token there, and those circular tokens are called programs. But Glom has a special power that all programs in setup are placed as green instead of whatever their character would normally place. Glom also starts with a ton of sparks on the board, black tokens. They go on every even-numbered open space on the network. Open spaces being ones that are not bordered on all sides, so like the 2 even space here, the 6 here, but not the 4. And then he also fills in everything on the purple server. So we get more stuff here. And we've got the spawn step. So he's going to spawn 1 spark at the beginning of every copper turn, 2 sparks at the beginning of every silver turn, and 2 upgraded nastier white sparks at the beginning of every gold turn. And his things have this power where they move towards each other and try to get together, because when you get enough sparks together, you get what's called a guardian, which is like a nasty little installation that's on the server. But we'll talk more about him later. For now, we're doing the intel phase. So in the intel phase, we look at the topmost card. Here we have Roman Candle. That's our copper one. It says our goal is to have at least one installation on each decker's home server. Installations are square tokens that are pretty tough to put down, take a lot of work, but give you pretty awesome bonuses when you do. And then during each start of turn step, we're going to place one spark on a random space on the network. So we're going to spawn extra. That's nasty, but this is a pretty easy goal to achieve, so I guess it kind of makes sense. And just kind of looking ahead to the next one, Null and Void, we're going to basically have to kill some sparks, and that'll let us put them on this card to help complete it. And we're also going to have to let some of our programs get killed by sparks when they attack at the end of round 2. So just to keep in mind for later. But for now, we're trying to get our thing built. Hey everybody, Mike from the future here. I'm going to pop in a few times in this video because I made major strategic blunders in several spots, and I want to kind of explain how I could have played a lot better. And right in the start, big ones here. First of all, you do have the ability to adjust the map. I just kind of use like the basic tutorial map setup, but you can see where the SMC is going to spawn its initial stuff. And I could have built the map in a much better way to have more of the spaces closed off in the middle, because then the SMC would have started with way fewer sparks on the map, but I wasn't smart enough to do that. And then also, I'm not going to realize for a while that I forgot a step of setup where you're supposed to put out a bunch of tokens for free when you're playing in a lower player count number. And I could have, for the first objective, put 3 of them in my starting space or right next to it and built a base basically immediately, which would have completed my starting objective with 0 effort whatsoever. So just a note as I go into the playthrough that this would have been a lot easier and I could have been a lot smarter with those choices. Okay, now we have the command phase, which is going to be 3 turns per deckers, and these can be freely intermingled. So if we were playing 2-player, like I could take 2 of my turns, then they could take 1 of theirs, then I could take my third, then they could take 2 of theirs. Same thing with like 3 or 4 players. But of course, I'm playing solo, so it's all going to be a lot more straightforward. So we'll do start of turn effects, which in this case will be the special one from the Roman Candle objective. Then we'll spawn new sparks based on Glom's card. Then we'll get to do actions with the cards in our hand. We'll do any end of turn effects. We'll draw 5 more cards, and we'll restock the upgrade area and do it again. So we get to go through our entire deck, which is 15 cards. We have 5 in our hand, and we're going to draw the other 10 in the other 2 turns, and we'll see how things go. So start of turn. When you do a random space, you roll this die that tells you which server on the network to do. And if it's this one with a little person icon, it's on the server where the active player is located. So you have a 2 out of 6 chance of your server being targeted. And this die tells you which space in the server is going to go. So it's 2 green, which is not great because if you get 3 in the same space, then you get a guardian. Okay, next we spawn new sparks. And like I said, because of Glom, it's 1. And normally when you spawn, you would roll this. But Glom has special rules. It says, do not roll the black die. Instead, each spark will spawn on the space of the rolled server with the fewest green programs, including 0, if tied the lowest numbered of these spaces. So they have a little bit of a better chance of glomming together. So let's see which server their one spawn is on. It's my server. And the lowest numbered space without any greens is going to be 1. Okay, now I get to do my actions. So like I said, blue let you move, green let you push things, yellow lets you replace the enemy things with your own things, red lets you attack them, purple is a wild, and any of those can be used for the upload effect. If you have 3 of the same color, you can put out a program of that color. So like 3 red will let me put out a red program, but only if your space does not contain any sparks, and mine does. I started with a 6 on my space. But first, let's do some upgrading because I see a nice one. So I started with this bypass card, which gives me a single green. And each advanced card shows in the upper right corner what it is required to upgrade into it. So I need to generate at least 1 green command. Let's go ahead and do that with the bypass. And whenever you do an upgrade, if you use more than 1 card, like let's say I needed the purple wild to buy the card along with the green, any extra ones get discarded, but 1 card gets completely replaced, so it is taken out of your deck. But here I'm just using the bypass. It's gone forever, and this adrenaline surge immediately goes into my deck. Now it's got 2 greens instead of 1, and it says when you play this card as part of an upload action, which is where you pay 3 commands to put a token of that type out, you may place 1 additional of the uploaded color on that space. So I could get 2 greens instead of 1. Pretty cool. Now I do not refill the offer yet. I'll do that later on at the end of my turn. Now, I could also get this Catalyst card with my red and wild sabotage. This gives me just a single red, though, but it also says after the dice are rolled during an infect action, I can get +2. And I can also get this one. This one's looking really nice. For a single red, which again would be overpaying with the sabotage, I get 2 red commands. But then execute means instead of playing the cards for its commands, I just discard the card for its effect. I can remove a spark from your space or an adjacent space, which is, first of all, fabulous, but also it would get rid of the spark that's blocking me from doing stuff right now. So yeah, even though it's a little bit overpaying, because I do have single reds somewhere in my deck and I didn't draw them, I'm going to ditch this sabotage and replace it with sidekick. And then I'm going to go ahead and execute sidekick, so put it in my discard pile to immediately destroy this spark, putting it back in the supply, which is important because, again, if you can't play sparks out, you lose. And now I can do that upload action. So usually it would cost me 3 yellows to do an upload and add a yellow program. But Tilda Sweet's ability says when you take an upload action, it costs you only 2 yellow commands to upload one. So let's get a couple of them. Let's do diversion for 2 and reroute for 2 more. These are 2 separate actions, and I get 2. So 3 is the max of any given color you can have in a space. And once you have 3 of a color, you can install and get rid of the 3 to put into play one of those installations. And let's remember that's what I need to do to complete Roman Candle, have an installation somewhere in my yellow home server. But we're not there yet. We got 2 more turns to make that happen. All right, now I've got 2 cards left, and you can hold on to 1 card at the end of your turn, but not 2, and that will give you 6 cards in the following turn. So I guess I want a yellow to try to get more yellow and build the installation. So the adrenaline surge is not necessarily helping me. Now 2 is not enough to upload, so what else can I do for green? Ignore the ghosting, you can only do that if you have a green installation. But I can push programs or spikes either from my space with a green command or from any space that has a green program on it. So sure, let's use this. And green programs can actually push themselves. Now I don't want, I kind of want to kill this one and also guard the one space. So the first shift I'm going to use to push the green itself, and now I can shift from there from my own space. So I'm going to shift this over here, actually, with a plan to modify it with my yellows and get rid of it in a second to make my server a little bit safer. Because as you'll see in a moment, at the end of turn, Glom is going to combine the things or try to move them close to each other. It's pretty bad. I have 1 yellow left. I'm keeping that. But I'm done performing actions. So now I do end of turn effects. And this says, in each end of turn effect on the active Decker's Curd server, move all sparks 1 by 1 from the lowest numbered space that has any sparks, excluding space 6, 1 space numerically upwards. So the 2 goes to 3, and the 6 stays where it is. And this is them just trying to glom, like his name, together and get 3 in one place to get one of these nasty bases put out. Okay, then I draw 5 cards from my deck, which will now have only 5 cards left for turn 3, but this is what I got for turn 2. Remember, I kept the 1 yellow from last turn, so I've got 6 cards instead of 5. And then I restock the upgrade area. So I got another catalyst, that's boring, and a viral splash if I get a yellow and a red, although I don't like that ability at all. These are not interesting me very much. I will have the option to clear out all 4 of these cards at the end of the entire round, but yeah, I can't do that yet. All right, let's not forget, though, we go to a new start of turn effect, so we're resolving the Roman Candles ability, and we're getting a, well, no, not green server again, I gotta get over there. 1 green spawning here, and then we're doing the Glom's single copper spawn on purple. This is all bad, because if they roll purple again, they're going to get a thing there. But I get to take my actions. I really don't love any of the advanced cards. It kind of sucks. So what I'm going to do is modify. To modify, you need to have more yellows than sparks. So here, 2 versus 1. I couldn't do it if we were equal. And then I need to do 1 yellow command and 1 of any other command. In this case, I'm doing another yellow. And I remove 1 yellow, so I lose one of my own. But I also remove 1 spark. And then I turn that spark into the extra color I did. So here I'm just maintaining my 2 yellows because I need them to build the base. And speaking of that, let's go ahead and use 2 more with Tilda's power to upload another one. And now I could build the yellow installation here, but I do not want to. I want to be closer to purple where things are getting so nasty. So I'm going to use a blue to move. And oh, crud. I forgot a very important rule. At the beginning of the game, you get a whole bunch of free blue programs. It's supposed to be 1 free one for each server that doesn't have a player starting on it. So 4. Oh, wait. That's what it was talking about. Glom said during 5B you place green instead. So these are all green. Oh, so I was supposed to put them out. Well, crud. I would like to put them there, but that'd be kind of cheating since I already know they're there. So let's put, I don't know. let's put them like kind of like randomly around. I'm doing this with more knowledge than I should. Now, by the way, just a note, usually spaces that have both sparks and programs at the end of the round, the sparks will kill the programs, but green ones are immune to attacks during that phase. This Glom computer is supposed to be like afraid of the green ones, so it's safe for me to put them in purple. But yeah, okay, sorry, totally forgot that. That would have been helpful. But yes, now I played a blue, and when you move, you can move 1 per blue command played. You can bring up to 3 of 1 color token with you. So here I can bring all my yellows, but like if I had like 2 yellows and a green, I couldn't bring the greens and the yellows. And then I'm going to discard this card just for the purple wild. I'm not using the green because I need a single command plus 3 programs to get the installation I need for the objective. So I have my yellow installation. What does it do? It has 3 main benefits, all very useful. The first one is now I can upload yellow tokens, yellow programs, even if there are sparks in my space, so they won't prevent it. The second benefit is each yellow command I play lets me upload 1 yellow program. So for 3 commands, I can get a full stack of yellow back, whereas that would have cost 9 commands before. And finally, in its space, I only need to equal the number of sparks instead of exceeding them like before. So lots of nice things there, and having it nearby the monstrous purple server should be useful. But I'm going to stop there with my double red infiltrate left. All right, so we get to the end of the turn. This is moving with Glom, and I don't really care because I will easily modify it in a second if I want to. And I'm drawing 5 cards, and there's nothing to get rid of in the upgrade area, so we're good to go. And let's see what's nasty stuff is happening. So first, Roman Candle's last spawn is doing 1 in my spot, which is honestly fine. I like it being over here where I can attack it. Then which server is getting the spawn from Glom? Oh, mine again. Remember, when they spawn, they avoid green. They want the lowest numbered space with the fewest green, so they go to 2. And now we've already finished Roman Candle. The next thing we need is to be set up to destroy a bunch of sparks, and we also need to have some of our tokens there. And then for the gold, we need a pathway of blue tokens, blue programs, from my entry space to space 6 of purple and 1 other server. So I need like a bunch of blues connecting all of these together. And importantly, this is checked. The objective is after the attacks happen. So I don't only need to have like a Roman road to each of the 6s, but I need to clear out any sparks that would kill the blue tokens before that happens. So, goals, things to go for. All right, but what am I going to do here? Well, finally, let's upgrade. So, I don't want to use my yellows. I'll go ahead and change this basic apprentice into a catalyst, which is also just a single red program, but I can also use it to make a infect action work better after the fact, because that's a opposed die roll where you're trying to get the higher total to kill them. Besides that, I'm not sure anything's exciting enough for me to get. Now, I do want to get some more yellows, and this is making easy, but you can spend any 3 programs. So like if I use this random red and 2 blues or 2 other reds to count as any command of any color. So like the 3 reds here could be 1 yellow, or 1 red and 2 blues could be 1 yellow. Because I need some yellows. I want to set up for attacking. So let's do this, because I don't think I'm going to attack this turn. I'm going to use 1 wild and a blue and 2 reds for a second wild. Discard those. 2 with my installation, get 2 yellow programs out. And then I'm going to modify this thing on my space with a reroute, so a yellow and a wild that I'll say is also a yellow. So I destroy this, and I also get the yellow right back that I would have lost. All right, now I have blues and greens left. And I want to start like pushing purples over to red and green. Maybe not green as much as red. So sure, let's go ahead and use 2 greens. I'll push this guy over to here. And then here, if I jump over here with this one, I have it shift itself. Then they won't be doing their corresponding in there, which means they won't get a third one and turn it into one of their guardians. Okay, and then I have these, and you can't keep a card. I mean, you can keep a card your last turn, but it's useless to do so. So what should I do? I can get another yellow to get another modify. Is that the best? Although it's kind of a waste, but sure. So let's say those 3 turned into 1 yellow, and now I've got the max number of yellows ready to attack next turn. My plan is to just go ham trying to destroy some things in purple, or just shift them out of the way. That would also work. Although actually, if there's only 1 token in here, well, they are going to glom together, and then I might need 3 yellows to be able to modify. Okay, we're good. So we did end of turn, which means the 2 goes to 3, the 1 goes to 2. We can't draw 5 cards. We do restock the upgrade area. with another ping nexus that I don't like. I'm definitely going to get rid of all of those. Okay, now we go to the SMC phase. So we check for attack. Every single place that has sparks and programs together, the sparks will destroy them. But here, remember, green is immune, and they don't share space with anybody else, so we're good. Now we check the objective. Do we have at least one installation on each Decker's home server? We do. So we flip it to its success side. If we had failed, we would have done the fail side. And it says, and we get a little flavor text, well, we ran on that parade. Mother's Roman candle fizzled. Good work, Deckers. Choose any one Decker's home server. Well, that is mine. Ooh, and place one program on each space on the chosen server. Whoa. All right, so what do I need? I need a ton of blue for that final push. So yeah, I could have some greens too, but nah. All right, so I'm going to put a blue on every space. Well, maybe not. Maybe I want some greens to push things around. They're double-sided, so blues act as, like I said, pathways, which means you can move on them without spending movement as long as you're going from one to another. Although you need to spend at least one command to start the move action, so you can never just do it for totally free. But let's maybe make this green as well, since I need a blue on 6 and then to go out to blue, and so maybe that one too. I don't know. Let's try that for now. Oh, no, this is fine, because we can bring these greens down with shifts and then use them to push the blues into the places we need them. Okay, then we have the move sparks step that happens at the end of the round. So we're going to look at these symbols here. And by the way, you're allowed to freely look at the fronts of all these objectives, but you cannot look at the back. So it says we're going to have blue, and the down arrow means we find the highest spark on blue and move it down one space. So 6 goes to 5. Okay, then green. We find the 6, and it moves to 5. That was fine. Okay, then yellow. The 3 is going to move to 2. Okay. And then red. The 6 is going to move to 5. Nothing really bad there. Okay, finally, we have the refresh phase. I'm going to shuffle my whole deck and draw my first 5 cards again. And I'm not loving my cards because I really do not upgrade as much as I usually try to in the first round. And then I can choose to get all of these on the bottom, which heck yes, I am doing. But it is an all or nothing choice. I couldn't keep one card that I like. Ooh, I got a very expensive one. Some greens, no yellow upgrades. Gosh darn it. And wow, I drew all my yellows. Okay. Well, this will be interesting. And with that, we're ready to get to our silver, and we're 1/3 of the way through the game. So we need to have at least X programs and X sparks on this card equal to twice the number of Deckers plus 1, so that'll be 3. During the action step, any sparks you remove are put on this card, which is good. And when they attack at the end of the round, any programs removed are put on this card. So I have to defeat at least 3 of them in this round, and then I need to kind of sacrifice to the altar at least 3 of my programs. And red programs actually fight back during the SMC attack phase. Greens can't be hurt because of Glom. So it kind of has to be yellows and blues. And I'd rather keep some blues around because I need to be thinking about connecting the Roman road. Although remember, null and void is not actually required. It's just an optional thing. Right, all right, now we go into start a turn, and yay, we're not spawning anything. And then we go to the spawn phase, and boo, now we're spawning 2 every round instead of 1 from Glom. Oh, that's right, we don't need the black die. So they are going to red, which will be the 1, and yellow, which they don't want to be on a green, so it'll be the 3. All right, like I said, I kind of got all of my yellows somehow. Now, this root access card is awesome, but I need 1 of each color. Yes, I could spend a bunch of stuff to make wilds happen, but that seems like a little bit of a waste. I don't want to get rid of my yellows. I mean, I guess I can replace decrypt with data shift. It's the exact same number of things, but I get, as an alternative, relocate up to 3 programs to your space from among the spaces adjacent to your space, which is actually pretty good. So sure, let's swap that in, if only to get new options later in the round. Then I want to kill some sparks. I do want to kill them in my area, but I also want to go and clear out purple quite a bit. So yeah, let's do that, I think, for now. So I'll use data shift for 2 movement. I could, remember, move from blue to blue spot without spending anything, but I'm just going to go into 4, bring in 3 of my yellows. I can't also bring the blue, remember? Okay, and then I'll use a double yellow, which means I take away a yellow and a black, and then since the other command was a yellow, I get it right back. And this goes on the card, so that's 1 out of 3. Okay, and then I guess I'll use reroute and just use the wild to move 1. And then I'll use both intercept. Oh, sorry. Bringing these, of course. And then I'll use the 2 yellows from the intercept to do the same thing again. So that's 2 out of the 3 I need. And I've cleared out purple quite a bit. Although now they're going to move up, so that part's not great. And I do still need to set up things for them to kill later. All right, so end of turn. 5 comes to 6. I guess technically it's lowest first. So it's 1 to 2, 3 to 4, and then 5 to 6. Hey, thanks for coming in to be destroyed. And I get new cards and stuff. And let's see where they spawn. Hopefully not on purple. Oh, yellow again. Interesting. So that'll be on 3 because they avoid the greens. And then red will be on 1 again. I mean, it's not really the worst thing in the world if they get some of their like little base things if it's on the other side of the map. All right, let's look at my options in the second round. Carbon Clone. So 2 yellows or interrupt. Discard this card when any decker plays another card for its commands to double the commands generated by that card. Fortunately, this is a game where I'm using a lot of yellows, so that won't matter as much. All right, what do I want to do? Oh, I've got the sidekick that just lets me destroy a spark from a adjacent space. That's pretty great, or from my space. Although my space, I'm already good to go where I am. The greens I want to use to shift some blues to get that objective kind of set up for next round. So sure, let's use sidekick to blow up this dude. So that's the third one I needed. That really gives me a nicer path for my little road. I'll use diversion to destroy this guy and replace a yellow with a yellow. So that's actually 4. That's more than I needed to destroy. And then let's do a bit of green shifting. That would be 4 shifts total if I want to use all of them. So I could go like shift 2, 3, 4 maybe. Yeah, that sets me up for some nice stuff going on. So if I can go like 1, 2, that'll set up that one. And then like 1. No, I guess I need another one or to rescue that one before they attack it. And I've got that card left. I'll keep it. Oh, by the way, before I use the diversion, let's say that I replaced the Cosmic Clone with it. Might as well, right? Just give me a few more options in the final round. And also it means that I get another option here as I get my last cards. Oh, and let's not forget these are moving up. And let's do our last spawn for this round. Blue and purple. Purple's slightly annoying because that goes there. And blue goes there, okay. Now, interestingly, if I get out of here, these won't advance and block my way. Now, but first, let's look at this stuff. Okay, I don't really need reds right now, so let's replace Infiltrate with Emit EMP. It would let me do a better attack, but also gives me a purple, which is what I really care about. I got some movement, that's good. I have greens, but I want the greens. Digital Tattoo is great because it lets you like buy stuff better with it, but maybe I'll get rid of the catalyst for that. Oh, well, here's my thought. So, it's a little weird, but if I actually move my 3 yellows in here and leave them, they'll get killed by these guys in the attack phase, which will complete the objective. I mean, I guess I don't think I put more on than it can hold, because otherwise I would kill myself, right? Because there wouldn't be any tokens in the supply. So I'm assuming, even though the card doesn't say it, a little errata here, I guess, that it should say any removed from the network card put on this card until it reaches X. I don't know. That's my interpretation. Yeah, speaking of, there are only 2 sparks left, and they're spawning 2 every round. All right, this is Mike popping in again, and I have confirmed with Ricky there is nothing wrong with this objective card, and I am thinking of it strategically in kind of a backwards way, because I could have easily dealt with it, especially in solo, by just trying to allow the SMC to construct some of those Guardians to get 3 things together, because then I would have gotten all 3 of those sparks back to my supply, and 1 Guardian really is not that big a deal, as long as it's not in a bad spot where it's going to be having explosions from new sparks landing on top of it. So yeah, I had a lot of options here, but I didn't think about that at the time. So if I'm going to let these yellows die, I might want to convert a few first. Okay, so let's do a data steal to move in here with all my yellows. Then let's do a reroute, yellow and wild. We'll call it yellow to replace one of these and get a yellow in there. And then shoot. I guess, well, I could just put a blue in there, right? That wouldn't really matter, would it? So sure, let's use data scan. I'll call the wild a yellow to initiate the modify. And I'll get rid of that and put a blue in here. Okay, and then I want to push my blues towards the places they need to go. And this is going to move in and kill those, so that'll be fine. So I've got memory seal. It's a wild and a blue, so let's use that for shifting. Well, I still want to save that one, so let's do 1, 2 shifts. And then I've got these left. I don't know what to do with these. I can't get a wild with 2 red, so I'll just use the wild to, I guess, do one more shift. And that can be here. I'll shift this down here to be ready to like push those towards the blues place. Okay, and end of turn, this one moves to 3, which is what I wanted. Okay, then we'll do SMC attacks, and it kills all of these onto the card, just enough. And that green can't be hurt. Yeah, everything else is okay. Okay, then we check the objective. Success. Nice one, Deckers. You are something to avoid. That's dumb. Nothing lasts forever. Not even nothing. What? Place? Oh, place them freely distributed on the network. That's right, because usually the silvers are bad, but they get even worse. Remove all pieces on this card from the game, not back in the supply. Then for each you were short of this goal, place one on each Decker's home server. Yes, that would have been worse. Okay, so I have to put these on the network. So I guess the 2 yellows can come back with me, so I can actually attack things. Oh, the blue, boom. That's going to save me some time for the final thing. And then what do I want to do with these? I'm very low, like very, very low on sparks. I mean, I could do a Guardian on purpose just to get 3 sparks back in the supply. But the problem is that Guardians cause explosions, so if a spark would move into them, then you place a spark in every adjacent location. So that's like definitely not ideal. All right, so let's spread these out some. I guess I can like put 1 on 1 because I'm about to leave here. And 1 on 2 shouldn't really hurt because I do have these ones in yellow to destroy just to have enough in the supply. And I don't know, 1 on green. We'll leave it like that. And yeah, I can modify this one before I leave, modify some others there. That should hopefully get me what I need to keep from losing automatically. Oh, I forgot they were moving. Crud. Okay, so the lowest green, which is 1, moves. Whoop. Never mind. Happening anyway. Boom. We got a Guardian. Okay, then lowest blue moves up 1. That's okay. Highest purple moves down 1. Oh, don't run away from me. Oh, God. And then we got another Guardian, which also destroys all of my pieces in there. Ha. Ha ha ha. That might be okay, but now if they spawn there, well, ooh, if I can get a green in there, then they won't spawn in there, which means we won't have an explosion from them spawning. That's maybe a good idea. All right, we go to the refresh phase. I guess I'm still going to get rid of these because I have so many yellow cards and I haven't seen like almost any yellow upgrades. And I will continue. Jeez, I'll continue to see no yellow upgrades. Great. All right, actually, this is a good draw for the beginning, having some yellows and some blues to like deal with some badness and then get out of here. Although I would have liked some greens. But here we go, the final round of the game. So, Roman Road, it is gold. Each Decker's entry path must be linked by a pathway to space 6 of purple and any one other server. And I have to be on my entry space, so I need to be there at the end of the round. So I need to get something there, and I need to get 2 here. And I need to not have an explosion that immediately places somebody there. And I'm now spawning 2 white sparks each round. They're a little bit nastier in that whenever they spawn into a place or move into its place, they capture 1 program there and just basically get rid of it. When they die, it goes with them. All right, so we've got blue. Blue's fine. And we've got red. Oh, God. Okay, so this one... creates another Guardian, but if at least one of them is white, they make a white Guardian. I'm sorry, I didn't even have that on camera. There were 2 here, they got a 3rd. Happily, it's not any nastier than a Guardian, except you cannot move into their space, so they're incredibly tough to defeat. But yeah, I'm just going to not worry about that. I've got a ton of sparks now. I got to try to get a green in there, because I got lucky there. I have a 1/3 chance with every spawn roll of spawning in purple currently until I get out of there. And then I want to move some blues and yeah. All right, so I've got a lot of wilds. Ooh, carbon clone. Discard this when acting Decker plays a card to double the commands generated by that card. So I could double the wilds. I mean, that kind of might be the best thing I can do. Because you can't like split commands from a card. Or I could just give myself 4 movement. Would that be enough for like me to get more done, maybe? You know, it might be. So let's play data scan for 2 blue, doubled to 4 blue. And I'll go 1, bring these with me. 2, bring these with me. 3, bring that with me. And then I can't forget that I can move from blue to blue for free. So I can go over here. And then 4. Wait, but then these are going to move up. And I'll need to deal with them. So, maybe not 4. Be safer to use the green. Now, these dudes are also about to advance, but that's okay because it gives me somebody to kill, and I'll have the yellows there, and I can attack on a tie. So 4, I'll actually move. Well, I guess it's not 4, it's free, but I'll move back to here. Or no, I could do free movement to here, go here for 4, and I'll bring my yellows again. Because you can kind of like drop things off as long as you're never moving from one hex to another with things. Then I can play the reroute for a wild to defeat 1 and get a yellow in its place again. And then with the hay, I'll play both of these to defeat the other one and turn the yellow into a blue. Give myself some more movement options, and I can just come back here and get some more yellows in a second. Oh, that's right. I wanted to move that. Well, too late. Didn't think of it. And end of turn, these both come in. But that's okay. I can get some reinforcements if I need to. Although I don't want them to... Yeah, I need to deal with them because I can't have them messing up my road and destroying it. All right, and another spawn. We got... Whoops. That was a red. Oof, which causes an explosion. Lovely. Let's not do that again, please. And also not purple. Oh, God. So the one is not put... Oh, my gosh. Okay, so this is... this is a bad instance because what happens is if you ever have an explosion on a guardian next to another guardian, then they just automatically go back and forth and you immediately lose the game. It's just an immediate chain reaction of infinite causing each other to explode, and it creates infinite more guardians and infinite more sparks. Shoot. I only have one more spawn roll in the entire game. So... If I don't know what to say, man. I just kind of hope I don't roll red or purple. Well, if I can get the green on purple, at least that's safe. But yeah, if I roll red, I lose. What is that? 5 out of 6 times 5 out of 6. That is 25 out of 36. So I have like a 2/3 chance of being okay as long as I can cover the purple. Because if I have to worry about purple too, that's probably too much. All right, here's what I drew. What's data shift? Relocate up to 3 things from your space, taking spaces adjacent. Okay, whatever. What I'm really worried about right now is that I got to deal with the sparks that are on my space so they don't mess up my road. But I don't have enough yellows to attack them yet. All right, so I can use data shift to move twice. And this time I will use the free movement. So first move, I'll bring that with me. I'll leave it there. Oh, sorry, this is still all free. Still have 2 moves. This is the first actual move. And then this is the second actual move. But I can still keep using free movement. Boom. Okay, so that worked out great. And then let's spawn 2 more yellows. So I'm ready to fight or modify when they come in here in a second. Okay, then I want to try to... this. Okay, so I'll use Memory Steal, a green and a wild, to have this shift itself. So now they will not spawn in there. So I gotta hope they don't spawn in red, right? 2/3 chance. I want to keep the reroute for when those new sparks come in. So what should I do with side skate? Oh, I can remove 1 from adjacent space. So that means I only have to modify once instead of twice. Heck yeah. All right, so end of turn. These guys do come in here. That's fine. I get my last cards. And yeah, I think this is it. If I roll a red, I lose. If I don't, I think I should be fine. Here we go. Purple, which is fine because I covered that. So it goes to here. Oh, no, it's a white. Goes to here instead. And... Number 2 is a green. Is that okay? That's okay. They didn't reach the guardian. I don't think I would have lost immediately if they did anyway. All right, so I think I should be good. I just got to kill that guy and get to 6, right? I've got my road built. And if I kill the guy here, nobody's going to be coming for me anyway. Yeah, all right, great. So this should be fine. I guess the reroute will take care of that. And then I just need to move in some fashion. And even a single point will do it because it's all free. That should be it, right? Yeah, so end of turn, nobody moves. SMC attack. This doesn't attack it because green's immune. Yeah, I think I'm safe. And we resolve the objective and everything applies. Can we build it? Yes, we can. Of course, there are always a few potholes along the way. You have 1. Now, if this is something new to this game that was not in the original Renegade, if you're playing against an upgraded SMC, then you would have a second gold card, one of these Mother's Ghost cards, which gives you like basically a boss fight at the end, regardless of everything else. So that's like a way to amp up the difficulty even with an easier, quote unquote easier, I still almost lost, even with an easier SMC like Glom. But there you go, everybody. That was a true solo play of Deckers. And I should have a review of this one either this week or next week when I get around to it. But I hope you enjoyed. I hope that was helpful for those interested in the game or trying to see how it compares to the original Renegade. And thanks for watching. Special thank you to our biggest Patreon supporters, J. Willie MF, Steve Wren, Pedro Lucas, Miles, KCW, Andrew R., and Chris C. We'll see you at the next stop.